Alright, what's up everyone? I'm back again! Welcome back to another Draft League video. I am recording this shortly before I am planning on heading into battle against my Week 2 opponent, who I will be only naming once the battle begins because I don't know what their showdown name is. But here's the team builder for Week 2. Let's get into it. My opponent's team consists of Clefable and Ferrothorn as its OU picks, which, that's gross. UU picks are Hatterene, Nidoqueen, and Starmie. It's another week where I'm dealing with a Nido evolution. RU picks are Sharpedo, Galarian Slowbro, and Aerodactyl. Week 2 of having to prep for this stupid fossil. NU picks are Toxicroak and Masquerain. NU picks are Toxicroak and Masquerain. And Mega pick is Megazard X. This team, well, part of this team, this part, really sucks. I am kind of expecting all four of these guys to come, just like last week. I mean, Nidoqueen gets Thunder, gets electric coverage. She could even run Thunder if she wanted to. Obviously, Trick Room is a huge concern. Ferrothorn is a gross wall for a rain team that doesn't have fire coverage. Fighting can still do reasonably well against it, but it's not the ideal pick. Clefable, Magic Guard unaware. Oh my god, I don't want to fucking think about it. That's disgusting. Like these, and Hatterene as the Trick Room setup and Magic Bouncer, if I were to bring Hazards. That's going to be gross. I don't want to deal with that. So I can kind of see all four of these coming. These are very likely. Starmie and Sharpedo are also pretty likely. They both take advantage of Water Stab. Sharpedo has both Rough Skin and Speed Boost. I mean, Protect Speed Boost outside of, Swift Swim. That's kind of terrifying, to be honest. So that's a worry. Starmie's already fast. It's got Rapid Spin. It's got Analytic. It's got Natural Cure. There's things there that I'm a little worried about. Aerodactyl, just like last week, gets Thunderfang, which can mess up most of my team. That's a concern, as always. Galarian Slowbro, not a huge concern outside of Quick Draw, which, frankly, Quick Draw is kind of situational. I would run, if I had this thing, I would run Regenerator. And then, Tox, Masquerain, and Megazard. All three are really good sort of utility things. Zard has a weird matchup because this isn't the one that counter-rains my team. Or counters my rain, I should say. This is the one that can change itself over to a different typing, which kind of messes with things. Also a physical attacker, but it does open it up to ground type attacks. And as always, my opponent can keep Zard on Mega for a while and fire things off of this stat block. I don't see that happening. I mean, Zard is pretty damn powerful on its own, and Megazard is kind of OP itself. One of the things I need to mention, Toxicroak does get Dry Skin, which kind of neutralizes my water advantage. And Toxicroak is also my opponent's Terra Captain. So this thing can get some stuff to mess me up. And I'm not really looking forward to it. This team isn't as disgusting as week one's, but it's still a little gross. Likely Mons, like I said, the big four. I can see Sharpedo, Aerodactyl, the Terra Captain can always come. Megazard I can kind of see coming. I don't know. It's one of those things that, like, it's Fire Stab, and it stays in the back until Pelipper's dealt with, if I bring Rain. But it does have a decent matchup, especially if I bring Latios and Kingdra. Masquerain is another likely bring purely as a suicide sticky web lead. Unnerve is also pretty good if I were to run berries. I don't really see Galarian Slowbro coming. I don't really see Starmie coming. It could come, take advantage of the rain, but I don't see it coming. I have things to counter it pretty well, I think. Let's get over to the team builder. We are bringing the exact same 6 Mons that we brought last week, but with slightly different sets. What I discovered is if I can get Toxic up against Clefable, and if Hatterene isn't running Magic Bounce, which is a big ask to be honest, if I can get that up, I got 2 Mons with Venoshock, and it kind of fucks. So let's get into it. Big Gulp the Pelipper is making his return this week after getting absolutely bodied turn 1 last week. I'm gonna try to avoid letting that happen this week. Lefties, Drizzle, not a surprise. Basically the same set I brought last week. U-Turn and Hurricane and Roost are all coming because they're all really good moves on this thing. But instead of Ice Beam, I'm bringing Toxic because my strategy, like I already mentioned, is going to be very Toxic heavy. It's pretty much the same thing, fully physically defensive with a little bit of additional special defensive investment. This thing is not going to be one that stays in and takes hits. This thing is going to be something that comes in, sets up rain, clicks Toxic if it wants, and then U-turns out if it gets threatened. Or hard switches. I learned the importance of hard switching after last week. Also making his return from last week is Merv, the Swampert. Pre-Mega ability is going to be Damp. Obviously going to be bringing the Swampert type. Same set as last week, pretty much, except I switched out Rock Slide for Superpower. I need some fighting coverage. I need some fighting coverage for things such as Ferrothorn, Sharpedo, and that's pretty much it. I need to have that extra little bit of utility for things like that. Superpower is honestly the best way I can deal with Ferrothorn. About the only other stuff I can run are Hammer Arm, which lowers my speed. I want my speed, and you'll see why in a little bit. I'll mention it. Seismic Toss does fixed damage. It doesn't help. Brick Break is pretty low power. I could have run Body Press, but I didn't want to sacrifice power on the rest of my moves. This might be a game time decision, actually. I'm considering running it. No, I'm gonna keep it with Superpower. I'm gonna go for the power because Ferrothorn is such a bulky problem that I really don't see myself being able to counter it any way other than this. So, full attack investment, and just like last week, I ran the calcs to figure out how much speed I need to get past my opponent's highest Mon under the rain. That is Aerodactyl yet again, and I need 88 investment with a non-effective nature to outspeed everything on my opponent's team before Scarf consideration. So that's what we did. We're running 168 in HP for the bulk. That is Merv this week. Not a huge change. Rodder coming back this week again after a really bad idea running Terrabug and going Terrabug turn 1. AV for this week, which I believe is the same as last week. I haven't looked at that team in a sec. Yep. So AV again, because that bulk is super important. Punk Rock, because obviously, slightly different set. Still bringing Boom Burst and Volt Switch, because those two moves blow shit up. I mean, Boom Burst, I ran calcs. It still does a hearty chunk to non-invested Ferrothorn when I have max special attack with a modest nature. It still does really good damage against that. Against invested, I'm not going to worry about it. Volt switch priority is always useful for me, honestly. A little bit of power sacrifice there isn't something I'm super concerned about. The new brings this week are roll compression for both Sludge Bomb and Hex from last week. We're bringing Venoshock, which is why we're bringing Toxic on Pelipper and a couple of other things. You'll see in a sec. Venoshock does amazing damage, and I think in most cases with max investment, it does have a solid chance to one-hit kill both... it gets a chance to one-hit kill Clefable when it is poisoned. And the Magic Guard doesn't matter. It does. Venoshock obviously stacks with that pretty well. And Venoshock is just generally a good move because I'm considering running Toxic across the entire board. The last move is Tera Blast, which with this Dark type Tera Blast, it hits Hatterene for neutral damage, which is not as good as Venoshock, but we'll take it. It hits Starmie super effectively. It hits Galarian Slowbro if that comes super effectively. And it's also just generally some good coverage. It's a kind of a neutral move because nothing is immune to it. Only a couple of things on my opponent's team resist it. And if I expect those to come in, I can just click Venoshock or Boom Burst instead. So that is Tox Rotter, the Toxtricity for this week. And now we get to the dumb shit. Masquerade is back after having an amazing performance in last week's game. I gotta say, I was not expecting that to go that way. I fully expected to just throw Masquerade out and just get absolutely bullied at the end of the game. But this week, we are bringing a slightly different kit than that. Black Sludge is gone because I need the extra defensive investment. I swapped out Poison Point for Technician because, as you can see on the set, we are running HP Fighting to hit that Ferrothorn. That is the only reason I'm running it. It's also good against Sharpedo, but I do more damage with Giga Drain against that anyway. It's also good. It could also be utility if I want to hit Tox if it tears something weird. Same strategy with Venoshock as Toxtricity, although Masquerade has higher special attacks, so it guarantees an OHKO against Clefable if it's poisoned. Unless there's some weird, like, Assault Vest, unique investment sort of thing going on. Giga Drain, fantastic passive. It does good damage against a lot of things. Extra Sensory helps. It does good neutral damage against Galarian Slowbro. And it hits Nidoqueen pretty damn hard. Oh, I gotta correct this. Going back to Tox for a sec. I don't know why I was running 248 in special attack. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you. I'm going to be running max investment with some special defense and a little bit of speed creep in my special defense to outspeed anything that speed ties with me. Masquerade is running fully physically invested with a bold nature. The reason why I did this is in the event that something wants to hit me on the physical side with, I believe it was like fire or something. I don't remember what exactly my strategy here was, but full physical investment against some of my opponent's physical attackers, particularly Aerodactyl, Sharpedo, Megazard, helps it live some of those attacks. Assault Vest patches its special weakness, or its special defense, makes it a little bit better on that front, so it can eat psychic type attacks very well from Clefable and Hatterene. I didn't need to invest bulk in that. That was an easy comp. Max special attack for max damage, and a little bit of speed just to, if anything has a 90 speed tier, I am outspeeding it. I don't think anything does, but I just wanted to throw it in there in case anything speed tied with Masquerade. So here's to hoping another good week for Masquerade. For the record, I did build this set before I did the battle for one, so I was not expecting this to do as well as it did, obviously. And this coming this week is just me trying some different funky stuff. So next up, we have Kid Drac returning, who, again, last week, really good kit, really good performance. But this week doesn't have as good of a role. It's mostly coming as a backup for the electric type absorption and just good defensive utility. It's got Eviolite because, of course, I'm going to run it with that immunity. Like I said, my team builder, that's about its best ability that it can run. I don't really see this being a thing, but my opponent does have Sticky Web, which if that comes in, that can kind of mess up my strategy. So Defog is on here to clear away any sticky webs or any other hazards my opponent wants to set up. Ferrothorn gets spikes, which that's a problem, but a problem I can theoretically deal with. Toxic on this set as well, going for that poison to get the setup for Rotter and Masquerade going. Roost, get that good healing going on. And U-turn. Just, I think it's good priority to bring. Just have something to switch out with. I'm running full physical defense, full HP, because that's what Gligar does best. A little bit of special defense, a little bit of speed investment. I believe this speed investment is so... or this speed boost is so it can outspeed Toxicroak. I don't 100% remember why I ran that, but, you know, an extra point in speed can never hurt. Speed ties are gross. But yeah, pretty typical set for Gligar. If he doesn't do well this week, we might end up doing something else for next week for my physical mons. And that brings us to our last mon, who is also physically invested. Porygon 2, who I have not named properly. His name is Glitch 2.0. Glitch 2.0 is coming back again after pretty wild display last week of Trace Protean. Coming back this week, again with a Violite, but instead of Trace, I'm bringing Analytic. And I'll go over why when we get to the investment. Or actually right now, because we have Trick Room on this set. My opponent does have the potential to bring Trick Room as a strategy. And this Porygon is my dedicated anti-Trick Room unit. Obviously, Trick Room being used in, while it's set up, counters it out. Cover Toxic, pretty typical there. Get some health back. Spam Toxic to poison everything for Venoshock. Tri-Attack is the best move I can run on this thing that's good and accurate. Could run a few other things. I mean, Foul Play comes to mind. Pain Split again. We're going with a relaxed nature and minimum speed investment, again, to maximize how possible it's going to be for me to get this Porygon in and counter the Trick Room setup. Because that is its whole game plan here. And it is physically invested this week because my opponent's big boys, Zardex, Toxicroak, Aerodactyl, Sharpedo, even, you know, Ferrothorn and Nidoqueen can run physical sets. I'm more worried about the physical side and having more physical defense than I am worried about the special side. A little bit of special attack investment. Got to make sure I have those odd HP and the 8 in special attack for a little bit more juice if I can get it. So that's the team. I'll see you guys in a little bit. It'll be a sec for you. It'll be a little bit for me while I wait for my opponents to get back to me, because I'm going to ping them on Discord right now. See you soon. I'm really mad at myself, y'all. I just did my whole post-mortem and I didn't click record. I'm so mad at myself. Alright. So, this team, now that I've gone through this once, as you can probably tell by the timestamp, things did not go as expected. I got hit real hard and in ways I was not expecting. So let's just go ahead and jump on into it. Turn 1, we've got Pelipper with Rain against Clefable with an Air Balloon. Gordon Ramsay with Clefable, sure. Now in this situation, I was expecting an electric type attack because I know Clefable gets it, and I played this battle too soon after the last one. So I got the yips. I was too afraid to do something productive, but I was also worried about other things. This having other coverage, because Clefable gets a lot of coverage. If it was even vaguely offensive based, I would have gotten bullied. But I go for what I think is the smart play. Just switching out to Porygon. Just put a wall out there, try to eat whatever this thing wants to throw at me, and it goes for Wish. So at this turn, I'm thinking, oh, okay, they're cooking something up. It's Gordon Ramsay, whatever. They're cooking something. I don't know what this is. I don't know what they're going to swap into. Whatever. Let's just go for the typical strategy. And that I just click Toxic. First things first, I'm slower than it. So no matter what, I'm going to be slower than whatever it wants to go for. With max attack, but it goes for Belly Drum. Maximizing its attack, and with the Wish, it goes back to full health. This is a fucking problem. It's a big fucking problem. Because now I don't know what it wants to go for, and at the time I'm running damage calc trying to figure out what it's going to go for. I can't switch anything else in. I'm too worried about Ice Punch coming in. If I switch to Gligar and punching that and bullying that, I'm too worried about fighting type attacks coming from it. So the play in retrospect here, like up to this point, I'm playing kind of well. The play here is just to click Tri Attack, no matter what. In retrospect, like I don't think I could have lived some of the attacks it was going for, but stalling it out was not going to work in the long run. So I clicked Recover, and it Baton Passes. Now, Baton Pass with one boost is legal. One stat boost is legal. So the Clefable Baton passes it off to Sharpedo. I clicked Recover. The easy play is just Tri Attack it. Tri Attack and get what damage I can off. I was too worried about playing defensively. And this was the turn where things kind of just, that was it. I was done. Because no matter what, nobody runs Rough Skin on Sharpedo unless they're doing some weird tech set against something that isn't very good. This is a speed boost set. This is a sweep setup. I basically lost at this point. So I'm running calcs at this point trying to figure out, like, what can I do? And it goes for Crunch. I switch into Roserade because I figure it'll use a water type attack. But it goes for Crunch because no matter what I switch into, Crunch just destroys me. So it goes for Crunch. It kills Roserade. And about the only thing I can do at this point between outspeeding it and taking it out is sending in Swampert. Found out in the post-mortem for this battle, my opponent had a Focus Sash on this Sharpedo, so it didn't matter what I went for. It didn't really matter what I went for. I would have still died to this thing. But again, the only chance I had was going into Swampert and clicking Earthquake on the Mega Evolving and clicking Earthquake on this thing. It unfortunately had Protect. And that's the second turn where things just, I lost. I can't outspeed with the investment I had. Nothing I have can live a hit at this point from this thing. Except one thing, but I didn't realize it at the time. And at that point, I was basically like, I can't win this battle. So at this point, it's at +2. I can't outspeed it anymore, even under rain. But stupidly, I try to go back in and set up the rain to bring Swampert back in. Swampert dies to another Crunch. Swampert comes back in. I can't outspeed because I don't have the right investment. This was invested only to beat Aerodactyl. And then it just continues to click its way through my team until we get to Kidrak. I was saving Kidrak because I was expecting it to take advantage of the rain and hit me at some point. But I don't have any resistances for this move on my team. So I think he was just going for it because it was it's just click Crunch to win with this battle. This turn, I go for Roost because I'm like, if I live, I live, and then I can figure out an alternative play from there. He clicks Crunch. I lose 76%. I heal myself back up, but at that point, the damage rolls on his side. He 2-hit KOs me. I could have gotten one kill potentially with Kidrak. Oh no, I couldn't have. I could have gotten his health down so it wasn't a perfect game for my opponent because of the Sash that I found out after the game. Could have gone for U-turn. It would have done super effective damage. I'm not saying it would have taken him down to the Sash, but it would have done something. Minor misplay, but at this point I had already lost the game. There was no chance of me coming back. He clicks Crunch again and I win, or I lose. I'm really disappointed with myself this week. I really fucked up. The big play again was here. Letting the toxic play was good. I think up to this point I was fine, but letting that Sharpedo be able to come in for free and hit me with whatever, that was the biggest failure on my part. I just did not have anything to counter that. Like even Toxtricity couldn't, and I teared it. We'll go to that turn where I terastallized it. See, on turn 8 here, I terastallize, and it still ripped me apart at max attack. So if I had max physical investment, could I have lived it? Probably, but would it have worked? Probably not. That's week 2. Week 3, we are going to be bringing something entirely different because I can't bring this. I just can't. This is gonna wreck me if I keep doing this to myself. I have to play all out, like regardless of what the play is. Like week 1, it was an easy call. I hard switch Pelipper into something. In retrospect, I hard switch Pelipper into something that eats electric. Week 2, I played very well. It's just once Sharpedo came in, I didn't have anything for that. And that was the problem. I think if I could go back and replay this battle or rebuild my team, I would have brought Espathra. Because with the boosts, if Espathra comes in, if Espathra was in at that point, I copy all the boosts with Opportunist and neutralize basically any potential threat anything can pose to me at that point, and I just try going with Espathra. Yeah, that's the postmortem. I'm very upset with myself. I played this very badly. This was a very bad loss, very humiliating loss as well. Just absolutely threw this game. But again, nothing I could really do about it. So I want to thank everyone who watched this. And remember, we're all just trying to get through this crazy world one day at a time. So remember to be excellent to each other. And I'll see you in the next one.